There is math floating around the internet that makes Caitlin Clark a billionaire. You've seen the headlines, the viral posts, the comments. It feels like a fact. And right at the start, here's the receipt. A study from Indiana University estimating her economic impact is approaching $1 billion. The common belief is that with this level of fame, with the sold-out arenas, the record-breaking TV ratings, and the jersey sales, she must be the highest-paid player in sports. That her WNBA salary and her Nike deal have already pushed her into the stratosphere. But this is expectations versus reality. The contrarian take, the one backed by receipts, is that this billionaire math is a complete fantasy. It's a massive viral misunderstanding of how money in sports actually works. The real story, the one hiding behind the billion-dollar headline, is infinitely more shocking. It's a story about a contract worth less than a mid-level accountant's, a league pay structure locked in time, and an empire built not on a salary, but in spite of it. We pulled the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. We found the exact source of that billion-dollar number, and we mapped the timeline of how this rumor escaped the lab. Today, we answer the 3 questions you are owed. 1. What is the exact math being used to claim she's a billionaire? 2. Why is this rumor suddenly exploding across the internet right now? And 3. How do her actual earnings, her WNBA contract, and her real endorsements compare to this billion-dollar claim? The gap between the expectation and the reality is the biggest story in sports. So where did this billion-dollar number even come from? It's not from a random account on X. It came from a legitimate source, which is what makes the confusion so viral. The receipt is a study first reported by the Indy Star in May of 2025 from Dr. Ryan M. Brewer at Indiana University, Columbus. That study estimated Caitlin Clark's total economic impact on the WNBA in just her second season could be $875 million, with a realistic path to $1 billion. That number includes the value of increased ticket sales, not just for the Fever, but for road games, the massive spike in national television ad revenue, league-wide merchandise, and the franchise value increases for all teams. The internet did what the internet does. It saw the headline, Caitlin Clark, and $1 billion, and skipped every single word in between. Economic impact for the league became personal net worth for Caitlin. This single report is the patient zero of the billionaire rumor. It's the kernel of truth that allowed the myth to spread. People want her to be a billionaire. It feels right, and this study gave them a graphic they could screenshot and share as proof. The payout is this. The math isn't for her bank account. It's the math that shows how much money she is making for the team owners. And the gap between the value she creates and the money she is legally allowed to be paid is the most shocking part of this story. If the billion-dollar number is what the internet thinks she makes, what is her actual official on-the-book salary from the Indiana Fever in 2025? This is the most shocking receipt in all of sports. I want you to take a guess. 8 million? 5 million, maybe a conservative 1 million. The answer is on her Spot Track contract page, and it's dictated by the 2020 WNBA collective bargaining agreement. Caitlin Clark, the #1 pick in the 2024 draft, will earn a base salary in 2025, her second season, of $78,066. Let's put that in perspective. $78,066. The billion-dollar rumor is off by a factor of 12,800. Her 4-year rookie contract in total is worth $338,056. That is less than what the #1 pick in the NBA draft makes in a single week. This isn't an opinion. This is a fact of the WNBA CBA. The league has a hard salary cap and a rookie scale that was negotiated long before the Caitlin Clark effect was a real-world phenomenon. The league's mechanisms were not built for this level of sudden, explosive growth. The payout is simple. Caitlin Clark is not a billionaire. She is, by the league's own rules, not even a 6-figure player. The most valuable asset in the league is paid like a rookie, because she is one. The real story isn't her fake wealth, it's her very real and very low salary. But if the league isn't making her rich, where is the real money coming from? Forget the fake math. Let's follow the real money. Her WNBA salary is, for all intents and purposes, irrelevant to her net worth. Her real income, the money that makes her a multi-millionaire, comes from her endorsement empire. But even that number is wildly misunderstood. Let's start with the biggest receipt, her Nike deal. As reported by The Athletic and the Wall Street Journal on April 23, 2024, Clark signed a new deal with Nike for 8 years worth up to $28 million. That is a massive, historic deal. It averages $3.5 million per year. It also, crucially, includes a signature shoe, the Nike Caitlin 1, which puts her in elite company. But it's not $1 billion. It's not even $100 million. On top of the Nike deal, she has a roster of blue-chip partners: Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Panini, and Xfinity. Forbes on October 22, 2025, estimated her total income from her rookie season, including endorsements, was around $8.1 million. Celebrity net worth, as of June 2025, places her entire net worth at around $5 million. These are incredible, life-changing numbers. She is one of the highest-earning female athletes on the planet. But the reality is that she is a multi-millionaire, not a billionaire. The payout is this: her off-court empire is what pays her. Her on-court salary is a rounding error. And the expectation that she's a billionaire makes it harder to talk about the reality, which is that her true worth is still tens of millions, not tens of commas. So if the cash from endorsements won't get her to $1 billion anytime soon, what will? This is the insider angle, the part of her portfolio that is the real path to long-term wealth. The answer is not just cash, it's partnership. Let's look at the receipt. Her deal with Wilson, announced on May 21, 2024. She didn't just sign a check to use their basketball. She became the first athlete since Michael Jordan to get a signature basketball line. According to the press release, she will test, advise, and provide feedback and creatively direct her own line of products. This is the difference between an endorser and a partner. This is a brand building play. This is the exact same playbook used by LeBron James. He didn't just take cash from Fenway Sports Group, he took an equity stake, which has made him hundreds of millions of dollars as the group's value exploded. Clark and her team are clearly following this model. They're trading some upfront cash for partnership and creative control, building a brand that can be monetized for decades. She isn't just an employee of the WNBA or a spokesperson for Nike. She is the CEO of Caitlin Clark Incorporated. The payout is that this is the real billionaire math. It's not a single check, it's the slow, patient, brilliant construction of a business empire, one first since Michael Jordan deal at a time. This is the real path. But it doesn't explain why the fake story caught fire this year. Why did this billionaire rumor ignite in 2025? A big story needs fuel, and the timeline shows a perfect storm. The patient zero receipt, that Indianapolis Star report about her $1 billion economic impact, was published in late May 2025. That was the kernel of truth. But then came the disinformation. In March 2025, a fake satirical story claiming Elon Musk gave her $10 million went viral. People believed it was real. Then, in October 2025, YouTube was flooded with clickbait videos claiming Dave Portnoy had offered her $100 million to quit the WNBA and play for a rival league. These were not real offers. They were rumors and, in some cases, outright scams. So you have the media cycle primed for huge, unbelievable numbers. The audience became numb to the difference between 10 million, 100 million, and $1 billion. It all just sounded like a lot. When the legitimate Indy Star report on her impact landed, the internet's rumor mill, already running hot, simply clipped the impact part and smashed the billionaire button. The motive was clicks. The why now is that the combination of her historic rookie season, a slow news cycle, and a series of viral fake financial stories created a vacuum that the billionaire myth was perfectly designed to fill. The payout is the billionaire story wasn't news. It was the predictable outcome of a media engine that rewards hype over accuracy. To truly understand how absurd the billionaire in year 2 claim is, we only need to look at the 2 men who actually did it. Only 2 basketball players in history are confirmed billionaires: Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Let's look at the receipts from Forbes, the official scorekeeper of wealth. Michael Jordan, despite being the most famous athlete of all time, did not become a billionaire until June 2014. This was more than a decade after his final retirement. And his wealth didn't come from Nike checks. It came from his majority ownership stake in the Charlotte Hornets, an asset that exploded in value. It took him 30 years after being drafted. Now let's look at LeBron James. Forbes officially confirmed LeBron as a billionaire in June 2022. This was in his 19th season in the NBA. It was the result of 2 decades of global domination combined with brilliant off-court investments, like his equity stake in Fenway Sports Group and his early investment in Blaze Pizza. It took both of them decades of sustained on-court excellence and, more importantly, massive, game-changing equity and ownership deals to cross that threshold. The payout is this. Claiming Caitlin Clark did it in her second year isn't just wrong. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what it takes to build that kind of wealth. It disrespects the decades of work it took Jordan and LeBron to get there. And it disrespects the very real, very difficult empire that Clark is actually building. So no, Caitlin Clark is not a billionaire, not even close. The math that makes her one is a fantasy, a viral mutation of a study about her economic impact for the league. We promised to answer 3 questions, and we did. The billionaire math was a misreading of an economic impact study. The story exploded now because a perfect storm of fake news and clickbait primed the internet to believe it. And her actual earnings are the most dramatic story in sports. A WNBA salary of $78,000 and a multi-million-dollar endorsement empire built on deals with Nike, State Farm, and Wilson. The final reinforcing takeaway is this. The real story isn't the fake billion-dollar headline. The real story is the $80,000 contract. That single number proves with receipts that Caitlin Clark is the most underpaid and overperforming asset in the history of professional sports. The conversation shouldn't be about her fake net worth. It should be about the WNBA's CBA and the undeniable leverage she has in the next negotiation. To understand the real rules that control all this money, from the CBA loopholes to the agent fees and the power structures that actually dictate player salaries, you have to see the full playbook. That's why the essential next step is watching our Locker Room Confidential playlist. It breaks down the systems of power that control the game off the court. Click it now.